You are no longer dimming your light. Whoever I'm speaking to, I feel like you have a long history of like playing small to make other people feel more comfortable. Like, this is definitely giving like a people pleasing sort of energy. I feel like I feel like you've always been you've always kind of like played possum or like played small, like even in a room where you were the smartest person, I feel like nobody actually recognized you as the smartest person because you were always sort of like camouflaging yourself. And I feel like you did this as like a way to protect yourself and protect your energy. I feel like you're somebody who learned at like a young age that like showing your light was dangerous. I feel like you were maybe put in situations, like especially as a kid, like we don't really get to control the situations that we're put in. And I feel like you were in situations where like showing your light and like owning your truth was actually like dangerous for you in some way. Like it was dangerous for you in the sense that um like you would be punished for it. I'm seeing like just like punishment, like you'd be ridiculed, or you would have like basic needs taken away for speaking up for yourself, for pointing out like things that to you I guess seemed obvious, but like to other people they were denying. Like I feel like you've always been like sort of a mirror. I feel like you're somebody who is like deeply spiritually inclined. I feel like you're deeply in tune, and you always kind of have had this like natural gift and this natural ability to like read and like feel energy in the rooms that like any room that you enter. I feel like you automatically scan and like read the energy. I feel like it's not something that you intentionally do. I don't feel like it's something that it's not something that you had to practice. It's something that just like came very naturally to you. And I feel like, especially like if you're someone who's like very spiritual, I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably somebody who's very spiritual, but like I feel like you've like maybe not grown up in a space where that was like accepted or that was like the norm. Like you didn't grow up in like a spiritual community, and like so you've always kind of like hid your gifts, or like you've even like downplayed your own gifts. And I feel like there are like times like where adults, like the adults in your life or people around you, could like really see your light and see your gifts, and they would like downplay them as well. And I feel like you got used to like doing that yourself, is like, oh, like people are going to downplay all of this. And like I feel like you're somebody who um definitely has struggled to trust their intuition and to trust their inner knowing. But I feel like you're coming out of that now. I feel like you're moving into a time of like more faith in your faith, right? More faith in your faith, more faith in yourself, more faith in your intuition, more faith in the universe, in spirit, in God, whatever you call it. Like just more faith in general. And I feel like you're like starting to like, I feel like you're on a path of like letting yourself be seen and letting yourself be known. I feel like maybe you are somebody who feels like they've never really been able to relate to anybody, or like that you've only ever been able to like be just a little bit like a part of yourself, like a fraction of who you are. Like I feel like you haven't even reached the surface of who you are. Like you just have that much depth. And I feel like this is something that is like keeping you up at night. You're like, how can I just like be more me, right? And I feel like you feel this like this intense like sort of energy, this intense like sort of pull, like calling you to like greatness. Like I feel like you feel something calling you to greatness, and like this call to greatness requires you to be seen in a way that you're not used to, but I feel like you're ready for it. Like I feel like there might be some like, oh, this is new sort of energy, but it doesn't feel like there's no like anxiety about it. It's more like excitement. Like I can't wait to see where this new chapter leads me. I feel like you're coming out of an era of sort of like people pleasing, and like you're being very unapologetic with your words. I don't feel like this is like an energy of being like, oh, like I'm just blunt and I'm just honest and blunt, and it's like really somebody just like being rude. Like it doesn't feel like that energy. It feels more like this is my truth, and like I'm not going to water it down, and I'm not going to make my words like it doesn't feel like the intention or like anything about it is like pointed or like directed at someone to like tear anybody down. It's literally like your truth. Like I feel like you've always kind of acted as sort of a mirror, and like with being a mirror comes like the burden of kind of being projected upon constantly, because instead of like feeding into the like karmic and like sort of like toxicity loops that are people are like presenting to you, or that you're being presented with, like you fall into these situations, or you keep getting presented with these situations where there's like very very like dysfunctional dynamics. And part of like your spiritual gifts is to act as a mirror, and as like in doing so, people will project a lot onto you, because instead of you perpetuating the toxic dysfunction, you're able to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from and exactly what it looks like, and people don't like that. So you may have been labeled as a problem child. Even like it could have been like in home or and family, like you could be like the black sheep, or like in job situations, or you could like cycle through friends and like romantic partners, like their families, things like that. Like you're always seen as the problem, even if you're not doing anything. And I feel like now, like with this sort of like mirror energy, you're like, instead of like, I feel like at a point in time you would have like absorbed the projections of the other people and like maybe taken it personally and been like, oh, maybe I am the problem, maybe I should change, maybe I should. And I feel like you're putting that all to the side now, and you're just like, I'm going to be unapologetic in my truth, right? I'm going to let people see me, right? I'm not absorbing any more projections. I'm not putting up with any more illusions, fantasies, like lies about me and myself, including the ones that I put on myself, because I feel like you kind of adopted some of these like beliefs about yourself that weren't necessarily true. Let me pause for a second. I do have to get a drink of water. So I feel like you've I feel like you've sort of kind of like absorbed all of this energy, and I feel like you're at a point where you're like, I'm not absorbing anymore, like I'm transmuting this shit. Like I'm not taking on whatever role that I'm expected to anymore. Like, I'm being 100% authentically myself. And I feel like you're coming into a season of like being seen and being recognized for doing that. Like, you're no longer going to be like actively, you're no longer going to be in a position where you feel like you have to hide. Right? Like, situations that you would have been in before, say like your family is like super super like religious, Christian or whatever, and they don't subscribe or believe in like kind of esoteric spirituality stuff, like the stuff that you believe in, right? Like the tarot, the channeled messages, that sort of thing. And they don't subscribe to that. They don't believe it. They believe it's this, that, or the other thing. I feel like in the past you might have like hidden that about yourself and like not shared that with people, but I feel like you're not letting the fear of rejection or like whatever they're gonna project onto you make you like hide yourself anymore. You're like, I don't care what you say about me. Even if I have to walk this path alone, I'm still going to walk this path because it's my path to walk. I feel like your light, like it just feels like this energy just feels very healing. Like it feels like I'm feeling it like in my heart chakra. Like it's like very deep. And it's like a deep deep healing. Like I feel like you're healing like generational wounds. Like I feel like a lot of the pain that you have been feeling with like feeling like you have to dim yourself and dim your light and dim your shine has been projected onto you by your parents, who projected their like you have to hide, you have to please the people, you have to be this, like the expectations of their parents passed down to them that they passed down to you. And it's just like generations of like, and you're finally just being like, no, like enough is enough. Like I cannot live my life for anybody anymore. Like I feel like you feel like I don't want to say like wasted time. Like I don't necessarily feel like you were like you feel it like it was a waste of time. But I feel like you do maybe feel like there are better ways you could have spent that time, like all those years that you spent living for other people. But at the same time, I feel like you have such an open sort of like balanced way of looking at the world where you can kind of see that it's like you can kind of see where it's like, yeah, like I could have used my time better. But at the same time, like I'm so glad that I have those lessons because now I know who I am and I'm gonna move through the world accordingly. I just feel like you're in a very like expansive time right now. Like I feel like this is a very like the word that keeps coming to my head today specifically is lucrative. And I don't think that's the exact word that I'm looking for, but it's the word that keeps coming up. But like you're in a very like fruitful time, like a very lucrative time, like a time where you're like a time of extreme abundance, like almost egregious abundance. Like it's like nobody could ever like I feel like you're very very like I feel like you're starting to recognize that you're very wealthy in spirit, right? You're very wealthy in spirit. You're very wealthy in heart and soul. And I feel like as you embody that wealth, that actually starts to project into your 3D reality. So that actually starts to manifest in your 3D reality. Like the more that you embody your like the wealth and the depth of your soul and the richness of your soul, the more depth, richness, and wealth your 3D reality is going to hold for you. I just feel like this is just such an expansive time for you. I feel like you're like breaking off the chains of like confinement, even though I was hearing something earlier today and I'm like, I fear the cage has been open the entire time, sweetie. Like, I fear it's been open the entire time, but I feel like this is like the perfect time for you to actually like take that leap and break out. Like, you've been like, I feel like you've been like waiting for a sign, and like not like an outward sign. Like, I feel like you've been waiting for a sign from yourself, from your higher self. Like, you're like, okay, like, send me a sign, like, tell me this is the time, like, tell me what to do. And this is your time. Like, I feel like you're already like embodying it. I feel like this message is just for you to kind of get like that outward confirmation, because like, who doesn't love like being justified, or having, like, who doesn't love like the outside validation, you know what I mean? But this is just like that extra like little cherry on top. It's like, okay, like, you've already been acting in this way, maybe feeling a little bit fuzzy, a little bit like sure that you're supposed to be on this path, but like it just like hasn't felt, it almost like hasn't felt real or like fully formed. And this is like your confirmation that it is real and it is fully formed. And like, the more that you embody, like, again, the more that you embody and recognize like how wealthy you are in spirit and soul, like, that, I'm just like hearing that so heavily. Like, you are so wealthy spiritually. You are so spiritually wealthy. Like it's like your morals, your heart, your love, like your spirit guides, like your ancestral team, like your roots run deep. Your roots run deep. Like, this is generational wealth. Like, I feel like it's literally generational wealth. Like, as you break these generational curses of like not embodying yourself, you're unlocking that generational wealth. You're unlocking your connection to your ancestors. You're unlocking like the keys to manifestation. You're unlocking new timelines. You're unlocking new opportunities for you. Like, the more you lean in to like your spiritual bench, like this, like the depth that you have spiritually, the depth that you have like inside your soul, like the more that you lean into who you are and the more that you come back home to yourself, I feel like the more, first of all, the more inviting and the more cozy it is, but the larger you see the home is. Like I feel like before you could have seen it as like I feel like maybe you're somebody who might have difficulty with any sort of labels. And I feel like that's because you didn't want to box yourself in. So like, you never really wanted to identify with yourself, even, because you're like, I want to be expansive. Not realizing that the way for you to expand, like, there was a whole world inside of you waiting to be explored and waiting to be expanded upon, right? So it's like, the more you come back home to yourself, like the larger your mansion, okay? The more luxurious, the more grand your mansion. Yeah, I don't know. And it's just filled, like, it's just filled with so much love. Like, I feel like this is a very healing time for you. Like, I feel a lot of like energy in my heart chakra. I also feel a lot of energy like moving, like there's some like burps coming up, but like, yeah, it's just like, I feel like this is just a very like healing time for you. Like, and it doesn't feel like you're like actively having to put in any work to heal. Like, this is just very healing. Like, I feel like you're like that wealth that you've been searching for, like it's finally, like you're finally, like you're in it, you're experiencing it, that luxury, that life, that, again, that wealth, that expansion, that mansion, that community that you've been looking for. You're finally experiencing it, and I feel like you're finally realizing, like, if you're somebody who feels like they've been alone, like in life, like as the, you know, as the mirror who constantly gets blamed, or, you know, as like, not in sort of, excuse me, not in a victim way, like not in a I'm victimized way, but just in a way it's like, oh, I've kind of had to walk my own path because I feel like, you know, people don't really resonate with me, or I haven't found people that I resonate with. I don't really have people that I can rely on. Not in a like, oh, this is a really sad sob story, but it's just like that, such is life, you know? And I feel like you're finally gonna experience and like really truly recognize how deep your bench actually is, and how like divinely, like how supported and how guided and how truly loved, and like how much community, especially like ancestral, like spiritual community, your spirit team, like how much they're supporting you, how much your guides, your angels, your ancestors, your community that you haven't even met yet of people, like just the energy around you is so loving and it's so supportive, and it's like you have a really deep bench, and you're in a season of like extreme wealth, expansive wealth, and I am so excited for you. Yeah, that is the message that I have for you today. It's like a very like overwhelming, but like 22:55 on my timer, but it's a very like overwhelming, very overwhelming energy, but it's also very exciting, and it feels divine, like it feels rich, it feels whole, it feels like love, it feels like support, it feels like family, it feels like friends. And yeah, like you already have all of it. I feel like you've been like yearning for it, and like you have all of it, you know, it's all right here waiting for you to claim it. But I hope you guys have such a wonderful, wonderful night. It's actually, I think it's like 6 a.m. and I haven't slept yet. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Personal readings linked in the, okay, yeah, bye.